welcome to the backdrop. Come along with us on our 4-day cruise to Tasmania on the Royal Princess, who just made her debut in Australia in October 23. Find out what happens when security doesn't like what's in your bags. Find out how good the food is and whether the nightlife is any good. Enjoy a brief visit to the historic city of Hobart before finally discovering the very best red wine on board. Let's dive in. Welcome to a very cloudy but hot and humid circular quay, and today we're going on board this baby, the Royal Princess. She is going to be our home from home for the next few days as we cruise down to Hobart in Tasmania and then back to Sydney. But first we need to get checked in at the Overseas Passenger Terminal, which is by far our favourite port to sail from, and with views like this, who can argue?
The other reason we like the Overseas Passenger Terminal is because it's at Circular Quay, which is really well connected by the trains and by the ferries. So wherever you're coming from, it's just a short walk.
Okay, so far so good. We arrived at the terminal thinking that we were way too early, but it's quiet and they let us straight on board. So we've just checked in, and bonus, they've upgraded us. Apparently it's on the Lido deck, so I'm very, very excited to go and see what kind of room we have.
Hopefully it's a suite. Maybe not. Let's see what happens.
Let's get on board. Oh, it's so exciting.
We're going on the ship.
We're on the gangwalk.
Nearly
there. The gangwalks? The gangway?
I think you're thinking of the gangplank. Well, hopefully there's no gangplank.
I don't want to be on the gangwalk.
Gangway, I think.
Gangway. On the ship! Finally get a chance to see this lady up close and personally. She has been sailing since June 2013 and has a maximum passenger capacity of 3,560, which makes her the largest ship we've sailed on till now. We entered the ship on deck 7 and immediately were inside the top level of this stunning piazza. And from there we set about finding our cabin, which was all the way at the front of the ship up on deck 16. Cabin L126 is a standard balcony cabin. We'll add a link to our room tour above. Like all cruises, first things first is get the muster out of the way. So first of all we watched the video on the room's TV screen and then headed to our muster station. With the formalities out of the way, it was time to relax, and Alfredos was calling. Alfredos is a casual dining eatery on board and chargeable to all guests except those on packages. If you have a plus package, you can eat there twice free of charge, and if you have a premier package, it's unlimited. Alfredos serves authentic Italian-style gourmet pizzas baked freshly to order, as well as lots of other delicious Italian favourites. With bellies full of pizza, we made our way to the Sailaway party. What a perfect afternoon we had, and everyone was really in the party spirit and ready for a great cruise.
Back to the room to get ready for dinner. We have one suitcase.
Only one suitcase.
We do not have two suitcases. So we have got a letter from Princess saying, use the forward lifts. Please proceed to an area on deck 4 where you can see a security representative for a secondary inspection of your luggage.
Oh, your case.
It's my case. Please bring any luggage, keys or combinations that may be required for access. Thank you for your cooperation. Sincerely, Security Department.
What did you pack?
Apart from the scotch, I don't think there's anything in there. Let's see what they've got to say.
We're going to security.
A few moments later.
Have you been inspected?
I have been inspected. I'm
I
clean.
can assure you, you've not.
I'm clean. Okay.
So we have the suitcase.
16?
16, yeah.
Okay, it is 7 o'clock, it's day 1, and we are showered and changed and ready for dinner. It has been a fun day here on the Royal Princess. We had pizzas at Allegro for lunch, and now we are going to...
Allegro.
Where did we go at lunch?
Alfredos.
Alfredos, and he didn't even interrupt me and tell me I was wrong.
Good.
Okay, I'm hungry. Are you hungry?
I'm very hungry.
Let's go eat.
Tonight's dinner is in one of the ship's 3 main dining rooms, Allegro. Allegro is on deck 6 at the back of the ship and can only be accessed from the aft stairwell. When we got there was a massive queue, but you only have to wait for about 10 minutes before we get shown to our table. Everything they brought to us looked and tasted fantastic when it arrived, and it was a much higher quality than the pub grub that some ships serve.
After dinner, we went to the Vista Lounge and we tested ordering drinks using the app for the first time because there's no bar in there. We just ordered 2 glasses of champagne to come to us in the Vista Lounge. It's 8:10. We've used the app to order them. It's not that busy in here, but the rest of the ship is pretty busy at this time of night, so let's see how long it takes. We have champagne. 15 minutes. 15 minutes.
It's pretty good.
That's not bad. He found us in this room's pretty busy. I like this. Do you think we could do this when we get home?
I do this when we come home.
Oh, you do, don't you? Okay.
Our last stop for the night is a sing-along with the piano man in the Wheelhouse Bar.
That big limousine pulled up. Alice's Drive. You guys ready?
The next day.
Day 2, and we decided to brave the buffet for breakfast. The buffet is located on deck 16 aft and comprises of 2 different areas, the Horizon Bistro, which also contains the pastry shop towards the front, and the Horizon Court at the rear. First stop for us was the pastry shop for a coffee, and the queue was large and very slow. This wasn't helped by the fact that as well as the passengers waiting in the queue, they were also servicing Medallion app orders. Thankfully the juice bar was right there too though, so we had one of those each while we waited. Coffee in hand, we then tried to find a seat, and again this took ages. We then had to grab some food, but separately so we didn't lose our table, so essentially I ended up eating alone while Mike was getting lost in the maze, because the layout of the buffet is really confusing. Overall though, the food was good, but it's definitely not well designed. We popped to guest services next as we had spotted some incorrect charges on our account, and we had them removed really easily, and then just spent the rest of the afternoon relaxing on board. It is Thursday evening and we are just getting ready to head off to dinner in the lovely Italian specialty restaurant on board called Sabatinis.
So let's get ourselves organised and get off out to dinner.
Let's go.
Better not forget this. We're going to have breakfast in the room tomorrow.
Taking the lift down to deck 5, we had some pre-dinner drinks and vines, and while we were there the captain and officers came out for a photo op and explained that we were nearly at capacity with 3,516 passengers on board.
One of our favourite things about cruising is to watch the sunset over the sea, and we had a great view of it that night.
Sabatinis is a specialty dining venue on board, but free to us as part of our Premier package, which gave us 2 specialty dining meals each. After a warm welcome, we were shown to a great table by the window. We sure lucked out there. The menu looked fantastic and it tasted even better. Oh my goodness, we ate such a great selection of delicious Italian dishes, such as arancini, prawns, lobsters, ossobuco, beef carpaccio, Tuscan soup, pasta and good old lasagna. The entire meal was phenomenal and we were so stuffed. This was definitely our favourite restaurant on the ship, and thank goodness for that elasticated waistband. After dinner, we took a wander around the ship, enjoying many of the activities happening and also enjoying different ways that our fellow passengers were enjoying themselves.
There was quite the party happening in the Piazza. And this guy looked like he might go a bit too far, but don't worry, he didn't.
Yeah, and I know because I was keeping a very close eye on him.
Yeah, I noticed that.
Actually, I was just a little worried he might slip. Anyway, after that little bit of excitement, we settled in at the Good Spirits at Sea Bar for a couple of cocktails to round off a great day. We woke up to the stunning sunrise as we arrived into Hobart on day 3. Breakfast arrived bang on the requested time. We had decided to eat in our room today because we figured out that the dining rooms and the buffet would be packed with passengers eating early to depart for excursions. It wasn't the most inspiring breakfast, I have to say. The hot food, well, it wasn't. The peeled banana was really strange. I'm probably wouldn't do this again, but we can't really complain when the breakfast was accompanied by this. After a lazy morning on board, we disembarked for a mooch around Hobart. Hobart is around 200 years old and it is such a pretty harbour city. We really enjoyed just wandering around. There are loads of interesting old buildings and so much history to soak up.
It actually reminded me a lot of Wellington in New Zealand. It feels kind of sleepy and chilled, not even like Australia at all. It felt like we were overseas.
Somebody didn't put sunscreen on in Hobart. Oh my gosh, you're like a razzler.
I didn't really expect it to be that nice.
Anyway, we're going up to the Allegro bar to watch Sailaway. Concerto is another one of the 3 main dining rooms and it's on deck 6, just behind the Piazza. We actually had another brilliant table right by the window for this dinner. I'm not sure how that keeps happening and how we keep getting these great seats, but I'm not complaining. And just like in Allegro, the food here was delicious. Sadly, there's no nightclub on this ship, so the main place to go for a boogie is the Piazza. The house band though are fantastic, and this night was an 80s night and it was great to see so many people taking part and having fun. We decided to try Allegro for breakfast and we were so glad we did. We were initially concerned by this huge queue, but it actually moved really quickly. Now this ended up being our favourite place to eat breakfast on board by far. The Eggs Benedict was delicious and it was so much more relaxing and less frantic than the buffet.
Okay, so I'm back in the room. I had to come and drop something off. I now need to go and find Gill. I suspect she's no longer still at the Allegro restaurant, which is where I left her. So I'm going to use the app and see if I can find her. As I thought, in the shops. Caught.
With a full day at sea and the upper decks closed due to poor weather, inside the ship was hectic, and so we spent much of the day relaxing and being pampered in the Lotus Spa and the thermal suite called the Enclave. The Enclave is the largest of the Princess Cruises thermal suites and is centred around a huge hydrotherapy pool with cascading rain showers and several therapeutic spa jets. Around that pool you'll find a selection of heated stone beds, water beds and sensory showers, as well as the hammam, which is a Turkish-style steam bath, the caldarium, a Roman-style steam room, and the laconium, which is a dry chamber and perfect for detoxing. The spa itself is the biggest we've seen at sea and has really generous treatment rooms, as well as all the usual offerings such as the hair salon, the nail bar and even a barber. This was the perfect addition to our cruise and we would highly recommend it.
After all that detoxing, it was time for some food. We'd heard about the famous charcuterie board in Vines, so ordered that for a late lunch.
I'm in hog's heaven right now. We're in Vines Wine Bar on the ground floor of the Piazza on the Royal Princess, and they serve up this delicious charcuterie board. Just look at it. It is absolutely stunning. We've actually eaten some of it already. It did look prettier than this when we started. But we also set ourselves a little challenge this afternoon to try the most expensive red wine on the menu in Vines. And it's this. I have no idea what it's called right now, but I will pop it up on screen. But look, what more could you want from lunch on a cruise ship? Look at the view.
Our last dinner on board was in Crown Grill, the onboard steakhouse and another of the speciality dining restaurants. You can find it behind the Wheelhouse Bar on deck 7. We were greeted warmly and shown to our table. No window seat this time. The menu was exactly as you'd expect from a steakhouse. They even had a salt menu.
And they gave us this bread. Oh, let me bring this up for you here. Some garlic bread. Oh my gosh, that smells so good. Right under my nose, that smells so lovely. Okay, so we've had one already. And we've had 3 different waiters come and ask us, would we like more bread? And we said no on each occasion. And somebody just dumped it on the table. I reckon that means the kitchen's smashed. And Mike's digging into the bread. I think the kitchen is smashed and it's going to be a while before our dinner comes. And they just need us to eat bread in the meantime, we'll see. So we're having bread.
Dinner did eventually arrive and it was well worth the wait. Crown Grill has been named among the best cruise ship steakhouses. Definitely don't miss this one.
Last few hours on board Royal Princess, and we woke up to $1 million view of Sydney Harbour at sunrise. Then one final breakfast in the Allegro dining room, and it was time to leave. Funny how the gangway is both the most exciting and the saddest part of a cruise.
So, what did this amazing experience cost? The cost for 2 adults sharing was 1,988 Aussie dollars. And when you add in 2 cruise-long passes to the thermal suites, the total cost was only 2,234 Aussie dollars. So when you consider that the Princess Premier package includes Wi-Fi, all your premium drinks, soft drinks, specialty coffee and much more, we think this was a bargain.
We really hope you enjoyed our cruise on Royal Princess. Please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. We've got some really great adventures planned for 2024 and we'd love to share them with you.